Like a vampire, I don't need to know you. Come with me, I'll show you. You can find me backstage, I'm a party with a Nicolas Cage. Girl, I want that body, you know you got a body like Nicolas Cage. You ain't gotta be scared, you ain't gotta be afraid, baby. It's just you and me alone tonight with Nicolas Cage.
Hey everybody, welcome to Late Night Cage Fight. If you haven't heard of us, we're a group of guys from Ohio who love Nicolas Cage movies. We've got over 50 episodes now and over 5,000 downloads. We can't stop thinking about Nicolas Cage. Am I right? I'm Cage Fighter Reese. I'm here with my friends Cage Fighter Sean and Cage Fighter Steve. It is such a pleasure to be here with you tonight. How are you guys doing?
I'm thinking about Nicolas Cage right now, actually.
Did I interrupt your daydreaming?
Yeah, a little bit.
I am so sorry. How about you, Cage Fighter Steve?
Sorry, did you say 5,000 downloads?
I'm sorry, 6,000 downloads now. Wow. Is that...
Yeah.
You want to correct me, right?
No. I mean, that's even better. I didn't realize that we were that far up. I thought we were closer to like the 2 to 3. So
and
I haven't kept up on our statistics.
And our episodes are also being uploaded to YouTube, and we've gotten some views / listens there, which is really cool. Thank you, Cage Fighter Sean, for that.
And at least one of those might be Nick.
Might be Nick, yeah. And the goal of this podcast has always been to review every Nicolas Cage film in existence and battle over those movies so that they may be awarded eternal rest in our B Cage of fame. We've gone through 3 seasons. This is our 4th. Our winners so far are Birdie from 1984, Vampire's Kiss from 1988, the year of my birth, Con Air 1997, the year of my incarceration. And we just love talking Nicolas Cage. It's what we do. So if you like what we do, please keep listening. And as always, praise Lord Nicolas Cage. Tonight, we're talking about a very special film. We're talking about Sonny. This is Nic Cage's first and last directorial debut. Well, I guess you can only have a first and last debut. It's his only time directing a film that I know of. That is a public film. I don't know about.
I thought he did the Croods.
I don't believe he directed the Croods. Are you serious right now?
No.
He animated it too.
Yeah.
With his own 2 hands.
Yeah. He also wrote the entire.
Yeah, that was his passion project for 40 years.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh my.
He had another directorial. I don't know why.
You know what? I thought so too. But
Everything
everything I'm reading is saying, hey, this is his only film as a director.
Huh.
And apparently he has expressed in interviews that the experience directing this movie was so emotionally draining that he hasn't directed a movie since.
You know, I'm thinking he produced a lot of movies. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Do you want to know a factoid about this movie, Cage Fighter Reese, that I think you will enjoy?
Yes.
So, apparently, Tommy Wiseau, also known as the second best director in the world after Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he's up there.
Apparently, he is a fan of this movie, and Franco's performance in it actually gave Tommy faith that he could portray him respectfully in The Disaster Artist.
So the funny thing, Sean, while I was watching Sonny, I had the thought, I swear to God, Tommy Wiseau would like this movie. I know he would like it. Because I'm a big fan of the Disaster Artist book by Greg Sestero. And he talks about how Tommy is a huge fan of the talented Mr. Ripley. And then obviously James Franco kind of plays a bit of a James Dean character, which is also a big influence on Tommy Wiseau. And then I read that same factoid when I was doing my own research, and it blew my mind. I was like, are you serious? So I think I may know Tommy Wiseau better than he knows himself. Actually, what I thought was, could you imagine if those two, Nic Cage came back to the director's chair, but co-chaired it with Tommy? Imagine what that movie would be like.
Would it be Big Shark 2?
Man, I still want to see Big Shark 1. Where is it? Where's Big Shark?
I guess it came out.
I mean, it's been at festivals and stuff, but what's the deal with like the wide release?
Yeah, give the people the sharks that we deserve.
I totally agree. Totally agree. But while we wait for Big Shark, of course, we decided to watch Sonny. And I'll just start off by saying I was surprisingly impressed by the film. I kind of had some low expectations, knowing that Nic was directing it. It was his first time directing a film. And I didn't really know what to expect. And also, I'm not like the biggest James Franco fan, but I'm not going to come on here and say I'm a total hater. But I did see that Harry Dean Stanton was in it. I really like that guy. You know, he gets annihilated in Alien. It's one of my favorite parts. So
Somebody gets annihilated in this movie.
Yeah, he sure does. He sure does. So we're definitely going to dive into Sonny and talk some more about it. We're going to talk about the plot and our thoughts on the film. But first, I just wanted to ask you guys, what's new? Is there anything you'd like to talk about in the podcast right now?
I have I've been on a journey.
You've been on a journey.
I've been on a journey sailing the Grand Line. I'm back watching One Piece.
Oh my goodness, the OG One Piece.
Yes, the one and only, not counting the live action.
So are you saying like you started over from episode 1?
No. I have been trying to watch it in its entirety for quite some time now, and I'm at least more than halfway.
That is a huge achievement, I have to say.
Yeah, I think I'm on episode like 740.
Jeez. I think Steve and I are still on episode 1. Well, I'm sure Steve probably got much further than I did.
No, I haven't watched any One Piece. It's outside of my realm of what I enjoy.
Yeah.
I never get into things that are too chaotic, I guess. Like Excel Saga was the closest I ever got to chaos, but it's still. I honestly didn't even really enjoy it all that much. It was just like a funny one-liners.
Excel Saga,
like,
you mean?
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Excel Saga I've realized over the years is we missed a lot of the references to older anime and stuff. Like, it just went right over our heads.
Yeah.
One Piece, though, I don't know if there are a lot of references to older anime and Japanese pop culture. I always thought the art style looked cool, but to be honest with you, Sean, it's just always been the commitment that it requires, you know?
Yeah. It's funny because I always was kind of a hater of One Piece growing up. I never really liked the art style, but I always heard how good it was, and I finally just sat down and gave it a shot. Yeah. And I have to say, like, I have never watched an anime that is as well written as One Piece, and I think part of the reason for that is just how much time it allows its characters to be developed. Like, even like one-off like goofy characters, like they'll give them backstories that's like, oh, like this is serious shit. Like, and it's kind of funny how like silly the world is, but also how seriously everything is taken. Like just just to give a little example from
Okay.
the arc that I just finished, the Dressrosa arc. So one of like the side like boss sub boss characters is this like slick like Italian assassin guy, but he just happens to dress like a baby, and so you're like, oh, who's this fucking weirdo that just like wears like a diaper and a pacifier? But then you find out that like they give him this like tragic backstory of like he was like a hitman, and he like fell in love with a girl who like hated pirates, and so he didn't tell her that he was a pirate, and then like he's away on a job, and like comes back and like finds out that their like daughter had their like baby daughter had like been killed by having like pneumonia or something, and then like she gets sick, his wife, and like the only way that he can like make his like comatose wife smile is by dressing up in their deceased daughter's like baby clothes, and and then you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, but it's meant to be seriously emotional or not ironic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like when they do stuff like that.
Yeah. So anyway, long.
So you're on the One Piece kick right now.
I am. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. How about you, Mr. Steven? What are you into these days that you can talk about?
Mostly been busy with work. I think I've really watched much lately of note. I mean, I think I mentioned before finishing the second season of Solo Leveling, and yeah, I'm kind of done at this point.
Okay.
I got the hype at first. Now I think if it continues, they're silly.
Is that a pretty lonely show? Are there other characters or just one?
There's other characters.
Okay,
It's another like insane power creep show. Like the first season wasn't too bad and had like some good character building, but the second season was just like, all right. So, I mean, it was like what was it called? Cream Battle?
I have no idea. Cream Battle.
Your God.
My God.
No, remember the Cream Battle? When the Oreo Man fought
Yes.
and became God.
Oh, okay. That you're talking about a home movie we made as kids with an Oreo costume.
Wow, way to just ruin the entire lore.
Well, I want to share the lore in case anyone wants to do a YouTube deep dive. They might find something spicy or sweet.
Yeah.
All right, so Sean has been watching One Piece. Steve has been watching Solo Leveling. I guess if we're on the subject of anime, I have been watching the new Gundam show. I call it Gundam G-Cucks. I think it's actually G-Quocks or something.
Yeah.
Directed by Hideaki Anno, who did Evangelion, which is a show that kind of got me into the darker series back in the day. I don't know. There's like 5 or 6 episodes out now. I think it's interesting. I'm not like really totally into it, but I like the premise. The premise is basically the bad guys at the end of Gundam actually won. So it's like an alternate timeline where the bad guys won. What would the world and the universe be like if they had won? With kind of like a contemporary anime spin on it. So it's like very, very vibrant, lots of flashy animation. The main character is a schoolgirl with kind of like, relationship issues, experiencing puberty, I guess, that kind of thing. To me, it's like, I don't know if I'm really into that kind of... They already had that kind of character with Gundam Witch from Mercury, which I just lost interest in. I thought it was fine, but it just wasn't my vibe. And this one is like, oh, well, here's kind of the same thing, but with a director that you should like. And yeah, I'm just kind of riding it out. We'll see where it goes. But again, it's got an interesting premise.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. Aren't they working on a live action movie still?
Yeah, I think they've been
Legendary was
working
doing
on
that.
it for a while, at least securing a studio to produce it and release it, because Netflix had the rights for a while. But as far as I know, yeah, they're still developing a Gundam movie, which I'm kind of an originalist. I don't know what you call it, a traditionalist. I just don't think that it's going to be great unless it's like a Watchmen situation or something where it's like beat by beat, it's exactly like the original, but we'll see. I kind of really think it needs to be cheesy in a lot of ways. That's why I like the original. It's kind of like what you're saying, Sean, with One Piece. Under the hood, they really develop these characters and add super serious backstories and stuff, and there is a lot of emotion, but on the surface, it's silly. Well, it's like Gundam. I mean, you got silly robots, silly-looking characters, but they get their asses killed, and entire, space colonies get blown up, and families get torn apart, and it's like, okay, it's a real war series. Holy shit.
Yeah, you just gotta commit to your universe. I mean, it's kind of like Marvel too. It's like, oh, there's a talking raccoon, but he also has a backstory that makes me want to cry.
Yeah. Before we get into Sonny, I do have a story that Steve wants me to tell. He told me right before we started. He said, "Reese, I really need you to tell this story to Sean. It's important to me, and it's kind of somewhat related to our discussion of the movie. So I'll try to keep it brief." Am I quoting you correctly, Steve?
Probably not, but that's fine.
Okay. Pretty close, though.
Yeah.
So I had a friend from my old workplace, which I left a couple months ago, but we're still friends. And this person invited me to this sex labyrinth in town. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And she's like, well, we don't know, but we know it exists, and we just want to go and check it out. And this was during a weeknight, so it was kind of inconvenient for, I think, most people. Plus, she said it cost $25 to get in. I'm like, I don't know anything about this. She's like, well, it's next to the sex store. I'm like, okay, which sex store? What makes you think I know what any of this shit means? I mean, are you calling me a perv? Maybe, I don't know. So I say I can't make it. I'm sorry. And then a day later, she fills me in on the experience. And I don't know if she actually wants me to talk about this. Not like I'm using any names or anything, but I might be exposing something or whatever in my city where I live. But this I don't even know what the name of it is, but it's $25 to get in. They take your ID at the door. All right. And they tell you that you cannot take pictures inside, and you don't mess with other people's experiences, okay? And everything is optional. And I thought this was like a sex labyrinth where it's you just walk through these rooms with porn playing. That's like the maximum I thought it was. And it kind of was, but she told me that they went in and there's like sex movies playing in all these rooms and devices, sex toys and stuff. And then in one room, there was this guy laying on his back, I think completely naked with like a hood over his head and his dick and balls out, holding his legs, just asking to get railed. And they were like, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, well, we'll have fun, sir." And then they moved on, went through some more rooms and checked out all the porn and stuff. And I guess there's like glory holes in the rooms as well, if you want to stick your wiener in there. And they come around. They want to do another loop. They go in the same room, and there's the guy again. This time he's on all fours, and he is inviting anyone.
Yes, he's on all fours. Sorry.
And they're just like, sir, we respect you, but we're going to go ahead and move on. And then they did another loop, and I think they went into another room on their way back, and that guy was in there again in another position where he was suggesting that he would like to engage in sexual intercourse. And she told me the story, and I'm like, I don't know why you think I would want to go to something like this. And And then she's
I
like,
still understand why you don't.
and she's like, well, it was a Monday. I mean, we want to go back on a Friday when it's busy. I was just like, no, I don't want to go, dude. You know, it's all dudes in there.
It doesn't matter. I still think it would be a fun experience.
No.
Were they hoping to find like a sexy minotaur in the sex labyrinth?
Yeah. Let's get some.
There probably is one. They just didn't encounter it. You don't always encounter the minotaur.
It was his day off.
Yeah. I just loved Steve's reaction though when I first told him. He's like, $25. That's a steal, dude. What the hell is wrong?
Yeah, that's a good deal. Like you can't. That's less than a movie.
Yeah.
By the time you go in and like get a snack and shit, you can't even go to the movie theater for that much.
He's like, where else can you have that kind of experience for that kind of money? Like, think about it. And I did think about it, but I'm still thinking about it. Actually, that's why I'm talking about it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I think it's worth checking out. I mean, like, I'm not gonna tell you go in on day one and engage. You gotta like work your way up, but like, check it out.
Yeah. Okay.
What you don't realize is that that guy that was in that room, if you engage with him, it actually will. You'll hear da 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 da, and then a treasure chest will appear.
It unlocks the secret room to the next map.
No, all of a sudden a green hat lowers down from the ceiling and lands on his head, and he goes, "I was Twinkle the whole time."
Oh. Yeah, maybe Sonny was in there somewhere.
Maybe.
Well, Reese, I actually have a story, a dungeon related story as well.
Oh God.
That may be somewhat related to this film.
Okay.
And I don't think it's nearly as exciting, but
and maybe I should probably mention, in case anyone hasn't caught on, this movie we're talking about is about sex. So go ahead, continue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The two tags when you look it up on IMDb are list of directorial debuts and male prostitution in the arts.
Beautiful.
Just to preface it, but so as I've said many times, I'm actually a big fan of New Orleans, as is Nick.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to visit a couple times. Beautiful city, lot to do, a lot of fun. So I was in the last time I was in New Orleans, probably maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. I was in the French Quarter with some friends, and we were doing a little bit of partaking in recreational alcohol consumption, as many New Orleans folk tend to do.
Spicy.
Cocaine. Got it.
And we found ourselves at a bar that is called The Dungeon. It's sort of like a BDSM themed club.
I like where this is going.
And just like the one that your friend went to, no pictures allowed. And myself, being rather intoxicated, I'm standing by some of the decor, and I think that I'm being clever, and I try to take a selfie to snap a picture of some of the decor, and a very serious man dressed in all leather comes up to me, and with a very serious look on his face, and reminds me that there are no pictures allowed.
That's right.
Well, we get a couple drinks, and it's a relatively small place, and we're there on like a Tuesday or something, so it's not like busy or anything. And I forget for what else, but I took my phone out again at one point, and the man like comes back up to me and like grabs my phone and is just like, "You guys need to leave."
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that's how I got kicked out of a BDSM bar in New Orleans.
And you didn't even get punished.
I know.
Wow.
Well, it's just a different kind of punishment. But yeah.
I was waiting for the climax there. I'm sorry you got kicked out. Do you wrestle with that mentally, emotionally?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
I should have just leaned over and said, the safe word is mango.
It'd be funny if you said, "You just got your ass kicked out, mister, which sucks for you. Nic Cage is here today."
Can I actually, can I plug something real quick? Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Haley. She has a podcast called Dungeon Monitors.
Okay.
It is a BDSM themed lifestyle podcast, but
Wow.
yeah.
It's like
Shouts
Vanity
out.
Fair. It's like Vanity Fair, but with whips and stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, check that out. Get her on here. Surely she
I
likes
will.
Nicolas Cage.
I can ask her. She is a Nicolas Cage fan. Can confirm.
Yeah, we need more guests lately. I feel like it's just been us, which is fine. But it's like if we were trapped in some kind of a silo or something at the end of the world, and we're just watching Nic Cage films or something. It's what it feels like. Let's get into Sonny. Let's get into Sonny's mind. Let's get into Nic Cage's mind, directing Sonny. Nic Cage news. Only Nic Cage news I got, people, is I saw the teaser. For Spider-Man Noir.
Question: is there a scene in the trailer of Nic Cage walking down a corridor towards a woman, going, "I'm a spider. I'm a spider. I'm gonna save you"?
No, but it should be added in there. So. All right, I'm going to do the Nick list a little differently this time. Since Nic Cage directed it, he is in the film, but he's only in it for one very short, very brief scene. It is memorable, though. I seriously recommend you listeners out there look up Acid Yellow scene from Sonny. It is, it's great.
Oh, it's undoubtedly the best scene in the whole movie.
Undoubtedly.
I think it's an all-time performance for Nick, if I'm being honest.
Agreed. So the theme of this Nick list is Nicolas Cage makes James Franco do whatever. So here we go. This is the Nick list. Nicolas Cage makes James Franco return home from the army and immediately get recruited back into prostitution by his own mother. So, Sonny's homecoming is barely over before Mama starts dropping hints like, "Just one more client, baby." Cage wastes no time throwing Franco into emotional chaos. Yeah, that's an understatement, probably. Nicolas Cage makes James Franco sit silently in a sad kitchen while his mother slurps up eggs and reminisces about his past sex work. Nicolas Cage makes James Franco endure the world's most uncomfortable breakfast, where parental pride meets existential dread. Nicolas Cage makes James Franco get seduced by a client in an office building like it's a high-stakes hostage negotiation. Sonny gets real close to walking away from the gigolo life, which we hope he does the entire film, until a wealthy woman offers him money to crawl back in. Oh my God. Nicolas Cage makes James Franco's character fall in love with the new girl at the brothel, Mama's brothel, and then have a full-blown emotional meltdown about it. Nicolas Cage must have said, "We need passion, tears, and a doomed romance." James Franco probably said, "Got it. Should I take my shirt off?" Nicolas Cage makes James Franco storm out dramatically multiple times in the same night, wearing a mesh shirt and leather pants. He has Franco wander the hot New Orleans streets, like a rejected Chippendales extra with a tragic past. He looks like he's about to start some kind of interpretive dance solo in honor of 9 Inch Nails or something. Nicolas Cage makes James Franco break up with a woman by comparing her to a peach. "You're just like that peach in the fridge," he says, dead serious. Cage not only lets this happen, he probably wrote it in Sharpie on the script. Remember in Face Off? His character said, "I could eat a peach for hours." Nicolas Cage makes James Franco endure a slow-motion freak-out. Makes James Franco have a slow-motion freak-out in the middle of a street to...
I'm sorry.
Yes?
Cage out.
Nicolas Cage makes James Franco have a goddamn cage out in the middle of the street while jazz music blares. And then Nicolas Cage turns up the New Orleans melodrama knob to 11, and Franco spins in the street like he just lost a duel with a saxophone, baby. What is that? Nicolas Cage makes James Franco argue with his mom like they're in a Tennessee Williams play. That also reminds me of Tommy Wiseau. That was written by some kind of drunk asshole. Every conversation between Sonny and his mother feels like it's just one mint julep away from becoming a slap fight, Sonny. Cage was clearly aiming for Southern Gothic and lands somewhere near Jerry Springer on Bourbon Street. All right, there's a lot. Okay, we got two more. Nicolas Cage makes James Franco suffer a full identity crisis in a hotel room while a woman begs him to go back to escorting and pimping himself. Franco's Sonny keeps trying to be a normal guy, but you see, Cage has just trapped him in this loop of just one last job, Sonny, just one last job. These scenes are like a crime thriller, not a brothel drama. Nicolas Cage makes James Franco get verbally assaulted by himself. Acid Yellow. I love that name. A one-eyed, bleach-blonde, gold-toothed Nicolas Cage cameo that hijacks the entire film. In a single scene, Nic Cage appears in what can only be described as Hot Topic exploded on Mardi Gras. And he screams at Franco about being property! The movie stops being about Sonny, Franco, or even reality. It becomes Cage's world for 90 glorious seconds. If that doesn't make you want to watch Sonny, I don't know what will. Guys, what did this film do for you?
So I do have one more Nick list adjacent item.
Okay.
It's a little different. You know how Nick is kind of a method actor, right?
I do.
Likes to do some research.
Yes.
So James Franco also visited some male strip clubs in New Orleans.
Of course he did.
Also followed a male prostitute around, even into a hotel room while he did his job.
Okay. See, that's just called Another Day at Work.
That's what I'm saying. So Nick also made James Franco, but outside of the movie, made him follow around a prostitute and watch him fuck.
Does that technically mean that James Franco was in an orgy?
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was cucking before it was cool.
So Sonny is set in 1980s New Orleans. It has themes of sexual exploitation. That's the biggest one. He's out of the army. He's come home. You think he's come home to meet a very nice and loving mother, but you find out that his mom is actually a mama hen of the whorehouse. And not only that, but like this is what I think was really dark about this movie. She had raised him from a kid to be a whore.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Started at 12, I think.
Is that what they said? Yeah, so that right when I heard...
He started working then, but yeah, I mean, he was educated from birth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that went from that just kind of made me feel sad for the character after that, because you can tell.
Yeah, it was like the spiritual sequel to like Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, without all the drugs.
That's what I'm saying. It was like after Requiem of a Dream ended, like this is where like one of those people wound up. Here's my kid lifestyle that I lead after all of that chaos is done.
Yeah, and it's a pretty simple story too. You know, it's he gets dragged back into the industry. He starts sleeping with people again for money. But the crazy thing is, he sleeps with like old nasty women.
Well, but they're the ones that are paying, right?
They are,
that's the one.
But they make you watch it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just like, please don't make me have to watch him bang this woman. Okay, I guess I gotta watch him bang this woman. Okay. Oh, and then this one too. This is honestly, this is like Nick's time travel punishing us right now because of all of the times we've commented on all the movies he's done with like, you know, number of people having to, you know, certain number of boob shots had to be in the movie kind of things. Yeah.
And so
like,
this
there's
is
gonna be some old lady tits in this one.
Yeah. You guys think that's funny? How about this?
Yeah.
They didn't specify how old.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even given the ridiculous kind of premise, I shouldn't say ridiculous. It's just kind of a stretch for me. But then I'm like, oh, I can believe this. I can actually believe that something like this happens.
I think it was like well put together and like well thought out. Like there's a lot of like, I hope that this isn't a realistic situation. So, but I also could see that it is.
Yeah, I just read this right now. Apparently, the screenplay was written by a guy named John Carlin, who was a former male escort himself. Maybe that's who you're talking about, who James Franco shadowed. I don't know, but
that's possible.
Yeah, it feels authentic, like uncomfortably authentic.
Yeah, because there's like I know we talked a little bit like as you were finishing it, and like there's certain scenes that man, I'm like, just seems like a weird dynamic to have. But I was like, but I guess like given the backgrounds, given being raised in that, you know, like the relationship with his mom, I thought that was always interesting because, you know, like you do hear like the mother hen and like all the girls call her mama and everything, but it was disassociating watching the movie because it actually was his mom, but it was also mother.
Yeah,
you know, she was synonymously the dead mom and his biological mom at the same time, and there really wasn't a distinction, and I don't think there would have been if you were in that situation.
Yeah. And I want to talk about the mom a little bit. So her character's name is Jewel. She's played by Brenda Blethyn. And man, does she have a thick New Orleans accent. It's almost, it's comedic to me. What's that?
She was a bilf.
God damn it, Steve. Is that what you wanted to say? Is that what you wanted to say?
That was not it. That was not it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I just want to say, I thought that her character was comedic. It's like, oh, of course, she's going to have that thick accent, and she's overplaying the character. She's overacting. But by the end of the movie, I was like, damn, she actually did a really good job. Like, she was consistent. She consistently kept that energy with that character. That by the end of it, I was like, damn, I think that could be a real ass person.
She reminded me of another, like, more like current actress who I cannot think of who it is, and the only way I can think of to describe her right now in this moment is like she always ends up playing the white trash mom.
Okay yeah. I mean, I didn't.
She's got like
her.
the big Botox lips and everything, and
gotcha,
like the same kind of style to her. I can't think of what the actress's name is or even what she's in, but I've seen her in a lot of different things, always playing like a similar role.
Yeah, so beginning of the movie, Sonny comes home from the army. He wants to get a real job. He wants to find legitimate work, something that will give him a sense of dignity. But his mom is like, all you've ever known is fucking. I think that's what you should be doing. You're so good at it. You're like, what kind of mom is this? And then the movie proceeds to show you that she's right. Like, everybody knows who Sonny is and pretty much wants to bang Sonny.
But just doesn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, so he's consistently mocked or rejected when he's trying to find a real job. Like, he tries to work at that, it's like a shoe store or clothing store or something. And in the middle of him talking to the owner or one of the employees, basically these older ladies come up and are like, hey, can I hire you to fuck me? He's like, and then the owner dude is like, yeah, I don't think you can work here, Sonny, sorry. Then we meet Carol, played by Mina Suvari, who's been in a lot of stuff, actually. I recognized her from American Beauty, I think American Pie. She likes American movies. She's a jaded person who dreams of a better life, and obviously she is becomes the romantic interest of James Franco's character, Sonny. And they share in a mutual desire to escape that life and start over. But really, much of the movie is just seeing them turn tricks. And, I mean, you get some crazy sex scenes, like when James Franco shows up as a cop to the lady's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one kind of threw me for a loop for a minute.
Go ahead, Sean.
I thought it was kind of funny that he needed to go to his dad to get the cop uniform for that date.
That's right. That's right.
I also very much enjoyed the. I don't know if I'm superseding you at all, but the.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's most of it. It's just sex after sex till Cage shows up.
Yeah.
The Gretchen scene, right? He one of his buddies, I think it was, he was trying to get a job with. He convinces them to go out and meet a couple girls. They go back with them. So he ends up hooking up with the one girl, and right after she finishes, he's like, "Oh man, that was great. You should do that for a living." He's like, "Yeah, I do."
That's right. That was kind of a sad scene.
She's kind of like obviously taken back from it, and he has a full-on Cage out, which oh god, that was great. I was so happy to see that Cage managed to manifest himself in that moment through James Franco.
Yeah. So one thing I thought was exceptionally well done with the writing is the transition from the before/during sex to the after. The way that Sonny would act, because before it's like, oh, I'm into you, baby. I want to give it to you. Let's spend time together. We're making love, and then right when it's over, it's where's my money?
It's where's my money?
And then you have these scenes too where the other character might be like, well, give me a second. I mean, you're just a fucking nobody. You're just a whore. And then he's like, okay, well, you can either give me my money or I can just tear up all the shit in your room. How's that?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. That seems so realistic,
Right.
Well, there's really you can see kind of the emotional journey of Sonny throughout the movie, because he goes from getting home from the army, kind of being optimistic because he's like, oh, I have this friend from the army that's gonna get me this job in Texas City. So he goes there, and that's where he gets there, and his friend is just like, oh, the bank took my dad's store, and it no longer exists anymore. And he's just like, oh, well, what do I do now? And, then he goes on that date, and for a second, he actually gets to feel like a regular person.
Right.
And, he tries opening up to this girl and is almost instantly rejected.
Yeah.
And, then comes the Cage out where, this kind of uncovers, something from his past where they don't really say a lot in the movie, but he clearly has been negatively affected by addiction, likely heroin, He goes into the girl's bathroom and finds like that she starts drinking like mouthwash or something, and he like just flips the fuck out.
That's right. Yeah.
And I just remember that scene where he's just like,
well, his dad's an alcoholic, right? I mean,
oh, was that? Well, I thought
it's like the mom makes notes like before, at a different point of like, well, you could take me out to dinner if you weren't always, kicking back whiskeys and whatever else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Sonny doesn't know that that's his dad. That's one of the.
Well, yeah. But I mean, he's still like a father figure to him, regardless of knowing that he's actually his father.
But he's a deadbeat piece of shit alcoholic father, essentially. Yeah.
And he's still like hooked up with his mom anyway, so he's like, he doesn't know he's his bio dad, but he thinks that he's his stepdad, more or less.
Yeah. And I just remember that scene where you could tell that like something after that scene like broke in him, because he's just like, I thought that these people were better than the people that I knew, but they're not better than me. I'm better than them, because And then that's when he just goes back hard into trying to just do what he was doing, and it just kind of goes downhill from there.
Well, and on the same trend of like timing, like another good writing element that I liked on that. So I was questioning myself a little bit watching it, because everyone talks about how great Sonny is, but then like time after time, people are like trying to shortchange him and rip him off and everything. I'm like, if everybody knows this is like quality package, like why is he getting so much shit?
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and I was like, they all know he's desperate. So like they're trying to play on his desperation, which is 100% exactly what somebody would do in that situation. Like, try to shortchange him. I know that you'll do anything for $100. Why am I going to pay you $3?
And I think they did that for a couple of reasons too. Like one, it was supposed to show that throughout the movie, like he's told like you're already 26, like it's a ticking clock, like until you're too old, just like your mom, to keep this up. I think that like the scene where the lady that makes him dress like a cop, like she's clearly like very well off, but doesn't even have the respect to pay him like the full amount. And that's when he just like freaks the fuck out. I think like scenes like that, they're done to show that his time is finite in this line of work, and then after he gets done with that, what does he have? And also I think it's making a statement about just classism as well, where
it's for sure like $300 to them is nothing when they're living like that.
Like the wealthy will just exploit people in need like that, and like, oh yeah, they'll use you, but to them you're just a whore. And
no, I totally agree with you guys. I also think that it highlights the just the reality of someone who is that good at manipulation, which is what Sonny is, what he does, I think, to draw in his tricks. That he clearly makes these people think that he really cares about them. And then when it's like, okay, it's time to pay up, it's like, well, I'll get you the money. I mean, we're a thing. It's like, no, we're not a thing. I actually don't give a shit about you at all. Where's the money? I don't know.
Well, I think that I don't think he necessarily had that reaction until like they started to make it clear that they were gonna fuck him over.
True. I think in his past he was just so well indoctrinated in that world. He had his constant regulars, and and that was just what he did. But now he's more of a broken person. Now that he's gotten outside of it, spent some time in the army, realizes, hey, maybe I can be a regular person, a normal person. Yeah, man, it's deep. It's kind of like I saw a couple Nic Cage movies in here. It reminded me of
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, he brought a lot. Like you could tell, Nick really brought a lot of his past talent into these movies,
like
and experiences, and really applied them.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Definitely
you
some
off.
Leaving Las Vegas in there.
Yeah,
and-
I was gonna say Leaving Las Vegas. I just wanted to say Wild at Heart before I forgot the title.
yeah.
And mostly because of the style. Like I really feel like Nic Cage was drawing from David Lynch, but not going out there. You know, just kind of like reining it in to where he's comfortable a little bit. But I love that he's like, well, no, I have to have a cameo though. I've got to be in this somewhere.
Oh yeah. He learned that from M. Night Shyamalan.
One kind of inconsequential scene that stuck out to me is just very Nick, was the scene when Sonny was driving from New Orleans to Texas City. It just gonna have a badass sports car and some rock music and
Yeah. I liked the style there.
yeah.
And I liked how they weaved in New Orleans. You know, they had a voodoo witch doctor guy, right?
Yeah.
Had like they showed the one guy playing drums and stuff. Just a lot of the city is in that movie, which is cool.
Yeah, and it's actually filmed on location in New Orleans. They use a lot of the, famous spots. So, if you've been there, you'd recognize a lot of the areas that they filmed in. I wonder how hard it is to film a movie on Bourbon Street. That can't be cheap.
Yeah, I would think. So yeah, we have that scene. We'll just try to wrap up the plot here. Nicolas Cage does appear as Acid Yellow, as I said in the Nick list, briefly. And at that point, I'm like, oh, Sonny's about to score with a dude. Right? Now he's going to have sex with a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He has a bit of a cage out there himself. And then Sonny and Carol decide, I think, they agree they want to escape together, maybe to California. Carol has an opportunity, though, to get married. And she ends up taking that to a much older man, of course. And Sonny's heartbroken because he has indicated that he probably can't leave this lifestyle.
It kind of looks like that guy from 30 Day Fiance or whatever that show is. That the really fat, greasy looking dude that kind of became internet famous.
Oh, yeah. It says here that he lashes out and attacks his mom in a scene. I don't remember that. Do you? In a moment of rage, what does he do to her?
It was after his dad died.
Okay, yeah.
Because she could have told him, but she never did.
Yeah. So the big twist is Harry Dean Stanton's character, who is the guy / not dad, is actually dad.
Yeah.
And man, I could tell it was coming because it was like strong foreshadowing. He had his day. He's like, it's my day today because he won money gambling at a buddy's. And then he's in the car and he's about to take off and then he just gets slammed by a truck. And he dies a fiery death. He dies a real man's death. It really was his day. Props.
Mm-hmm.
But then his mom, Jewel, was like, I never told you, but he was your daddy. And now I'm going to give you some backstory to really prove it to you. And then he gets...
To really dig it in deep.
Yeah. And that's when he lashes out at her. That's right.
Yeah.
And then there's another twist at the very end where they make it out like... so Sonny and Carol are outside. She's about to leave with the guy, but it shows the two of them actually running away together. But then it comes back and you see that was just Sonny's fantasy as he's staring at the front door of his house, right?
Yeah, which was kind of sad.
Yeah, very sad.
He didn't get any closure, and I mean, neither did she.
Yeah, and maybe he's still there. We should take a trip.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
I hope they bury him inside Nick's tomb.
So I did have one more slightly off-topic point on this movie.
All right.
You always accuse me of bringing up a Twilight reference, so
you're gonna do it.
Here's my Twilight reference.
Okay.
If you remember when the original movies were coming out, there was a lot of backlash about the casting of Robert Pattinson as Edward. Because,
Yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah, because everyone was basically expecting Zac Efron, and instead what they got was James Franco and Sonny.
Okay.
Because they're kind of the same character, demeanor, style, and everything. The way they look, it's
Just with less fucking.
Well, on screen.
Okay. All right. You're saying it should have been Zac Efron?
I'm saying that's what everybody was expecting when they, said there was going to be a live action movie, was some sort of a pretty boy like that, and instead what they got was, the Sonny style of character.
Yeah.
Still very charismatic, still very,
Right.
has his thing to him, but especially in this movie, is not what you'd expect out of a pretty boy in the spotlight.
Gotcha. I thought James Franco was really good in this. I was impressed. It's like, damn, he's man. Maybe I should spend some money.
Not a question of acting abilities. I just meant of visual appearance.
No, I get you. I was just trying to segue. I was trying to segue.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I wanted to say.
Away.
You guys probably already know this movie did not perform well at all. It was a critical.
I think it did like 17,000 in opening weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say the budget for this was. Oh, actually, apparently I don't know numbers. Yeah, the budget was $4 million, but the box office was only 132,000.
Yeah, that was the worldwide gross opening weekend.
It's also
like 17, 18.
I think I remember seeing it. It had a pretty low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think that score has gone up over the years because it's now considered a cult film, and it says right here it's considered. It has gained cult curiosity status, especially among fans of Nicolas Cage and James Franco. Wow, there's probably a James Franco battle podcast out there somewhere that is going to want to join with us after this.
Well, and it's like, I think it is a great film, and I think people are starting to appreciate that. I mean, it's similar, like I mentioned earlier, Requiem for a Dream.
Right.
Fantastic film. Yeah. I never want to watch it again, but great film, very well done. And I, if you can stomach it, I think it's a good watch just for educational purposes. Yeah. But yeah, it's a one and done kind of thing.
Are you sure you didn't mean Jared Leto should have been the lead, or you meant Zac Efron? Just want to make sure because he was the lead.
No, he's Morbius.
Okay, he's Morbius.
He'll always be Morbius.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have a question though. Do you think that Acid Yellow was an inspiration for Longlegs?
Oh my god.
Due to Nick's nose prosthetic?
Oh, he had a nose prosthetic. I didn't notice that. I thought that he was what's his name from Deadfall, kinda.
I was actually going to say, I think this is that Nick devised this entire movie because this was the second costume choice that he decided on for Deadfall. And he was like, I should have done that one. You know what?
Yeah,
we're doing another movie.
Yeah, Eddie King. That was his name.
Eddie King. Yep.
Viva la fucking France,
really wish
man!
Acid Yellow would appear in other Nicolas Cage films.
Yeah. What else? What else was I going to say about this?
Was the jacket in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? In like the Shrine of Nic Cage?
It probably was. It should have been. I don't remember.
Because I vaguely remember there being a jacket. I just don't remember if it was this jacket or from another movie.
Yeah. If I had any criticism about the movie, other than the sad truth that Nic Cage's Acid Yellow is only in there for like a minute, would be I felt like some of the transitions were a little jarring. Like there's one part where I think Sonny was talking to his mom and they were kind of close to each other, a little intimate. And then it cut to him banging the older lady. And I thought the older lady was his mom.
Oh, I think I thought that too.
And I'm like, what? Whoa, no, please no. And this lady's like, yeah, Sonny. And I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore, please, God. But it was, then you see it's the other character, thank God. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was just my experience, but then there were a couple others too that I thought were a little weird, but forgivable since it's Nic Cage directing, and he didn't necessarily edit it, right? So I don't know. And then
I get the feeling that would have been a director's choice, kind of.
It could have been. No, it could have been.
Yeah,
could have been.
Yeah.
And then I felt like the ending. It was really abrupt. The maybe climax of the movie. The most important part of the film, I think, is the scene with Sonny and Carol talking in the rain, making that decision, trying to make that decision about their future. And that's essentially when he walks away from her. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I thought that was...
Sorry, I just had an aha moment.
Did you just shit yourself?
I'm trying to find something.
Oh.
No, I just had an epiphany as you were talking about this.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go back and find if I can find the line.
Oh, okay. Anyway, just excellent scene. Perfect for the movie. And then I just thought after that it was a little abrupt. Just a little abrupt. You got the crazy Nic Cage stuff, and then basically it's like, oh yeah, by the way, he was your dad. He's dead now. Shit. And then it ended. But that's just a matter. It's just a matter of taste. I'm not saying that it
all
is.
That happens in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, really fast.
Yeah.
But it almost felt like a play. It felt like a play, but with porn, which I think is genius. I would not make a play with porn using anyone other than Nic Cage as the director, personally. Steve, did you find what we're looking for in life?
Yes. Okay, so as you're talking about like the scene transitions and everything, I started like floating through some of the other conversations in my head. And I think that the message that you're supposed to get is, remember, they talked numerous times about she trained him. The specific quote I was looking at was Carol saying, "Now I know why mother calls you a natural born whore." And he says, "That's not the reason."
Oh, okay.
And then that transition scene, I think what they're trying to say is that she trained him. But without actually saying that.
Oh no.
Right. Yeah.
Who trained him?
His mom. His mom.
Okay.
I mean, I was wondering how.
Oh, so they're like insinuating that he was having sex with his mom. Is that what you mean?
Correct.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Because there are like a few, like a handful of like key bits around there that do kind of like support that, and like as you're talking about how all three of us just kind of at separate occasions had the same like momentary question of like, wait, was that his mom?
Yeah. No, I totally think you.
I think it was very intentional. Now that I think about it, you know.
Well, and think about how young he was apparently when he got started.
Right. I mean, and like we've already talked about, I mean, it was raised that way. It was raised that this is a normal, comfortable, whatever kind of thing. And
why do we always have to talk about this shit?
I don't know. I mean, Nick does some fucked up shit, man. This is
it's drama. Come on.
I don't know why this one bothered me less than 8mm, but
yeah, I was thinking 8mm too. I was thinking it's funny how the last like genuinely disturbing movie I think we talked about was 8mm, and this one, like thematically, this one isn't that far off. There's no murder, really.
Right. Yeah.
Torture.
I mean, it's like the same level of like dark side of society, but like at least I don't know. I guess at least doesn't feel as gruesome or violent. And it's just kind of portrayed as an everyday walk where you feel normal because they all feel normal in this world.
You almost feel like a voyeur. looking in at these fucked up people they don't know that they're
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it never feels like
God, that
controversial in the element.
you should have done the marketing for this, Steve. Because now I want to watch it again. Damn.
Yeah.
That's Sonny, people. If that doesn't make you want to run out and rent this right now at home, run into your living room, I guess. I don't know what will. And it's a shame because, I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong or outvote me, but I don't think this can really be in the runnings since it's a bit of an oddball Nic Cage movie, right? He directed it. He's only in it for one scene.
Is he in this more than Cotton Club, though?
Oh man, that's tough.
No.
That's tough.
No.
But we omitted Cotton Club from the B Cage of fame because of his lack of appearance.
Yeah, you're right. So you're saying we should...
I think Sean brings up a valid point that we have to make a decision on.
Well,
my argument is that he also directed it, so he has a spiritual presence in the entire movie. That's my argument.
But it's going to be impossible to argue his performance compared to other performances. You just can't.
But I think he did a wonderful job of insinuating his values into everybody's roles.
Okay, man. If you want to keep it in, we'll keep it in. I don't really care. I mean, if the movie sucked, I would just say you're an idiot, but it doesn't suck.
Right.
So I'm happy to talk about it again.
There's some other good ones in this season, so we don't know if it'll be a winner, but I think it
You really think this one could beat National Treasure?
Yeah. Man, it's been a long time, and I don't remember if I just hate on it because of the hype, but I don't remember National Treasure being something that I really enjoyed.
Steve, I think I barely remember one scene from National Treasure.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah. I like Next better. Like, legitimately, not ironically, I like Next better than National Treasure. That one gets so much shit.
I am ready for Next.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Next. I'm ready for Knowing. I'm ready for Drive Angry. I'm ready for Bangkok Dangerous. All that stuff. I'm just... It needs to come right now. But...
Yeah.
Here we are with Wind Talkers, Sonny, which was a nice surprise.
Yep.
Are we gonna? Do you want to rate it just for shits and giggles?
Captain Moron's Banjo Katari.
Yeah, the Banjo Katari. That's a winner right there. Do we want to rate it?
Do ratings. Yeah, always.
I'll give it.
Baby. Give me 2 seconds.
So I'm thinking.
I wasn't prepared with the rating.
Okay,
rush.
I mean, you can always go back and listen again. Give us some listens. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
we could always use some more.
All right, go for it.
Man, out of 10, I'm gonna give it. So I'm thinking of other movies that are Nic Cage movies that are kind of similar. But I hope I gave Wild at Heart a higher one, because that would be kind of embarrassing after all I've said. But I'm thinking of Birdie, actually. Birdie is kind of... It's a drama that has some weird stuff like this, right? I mean, the dude thinks he's a bird. Nic Cage is a side character. He's not the main character. Another one would be... What's the one with... Oh, man. It's black and white. No, Uncle Francis. See, this is how you know we don't have the stuff in front of us.
Rumblefish.
Rumblefish, yeah. I'm going to give it a 7.4. 7.4.
7.4.
Ooh.
7.4. So we actually didn't really start tracking ratings until this season. Yeah. So I don't have anything since before Snake Eyes. That puts it slightly higher than Snake Eyes, but slightly less than 8mm.
I was thinking 7.5 myself.
Yeah. These are unusually high for you guys.
Yeah.
Threatening to not let it compete.
I guess I was like you, Steve, with the last movie we watched. Was it Wind Talkers or Captain Corelli, where you just, I think it was Captain Corelli, where you just thought that it was going to be the worst movie of all time.
Yeah. Well, and I'm pretty sure I gave that one like a 2.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't think that about this. I just didn't know what to think.
On a scale of Time to Kill to Mandy, where does it?
Yeah, closer to Mandy, right? God, I hope.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Stevie?
I'm a little closer to an 8.5.
Damn.
There's really not the biggest downfall, the main thing that it's losing points for is just lack of I would have been happy with a good 10 to 15 minutes of Acid Yellow. I actually would have been happy with Acid Yellow to be James Franco's dad.
Yeah, agreed.
That, I think that would have raised me up a little bit more. But I do want to say, while I have the mic, Nic Cage, if you're listening, fuck the haters. Okay, I understand that this didn't sell well, but you did a fantastic job as a director, and I think you deserve the applause. And they just don't understand your genius. So, slay queen.
Like over 20 years later,
right?
Yeah, we watched it for the first time, and it was good. So, all those people over all of those years were wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. It's okay to be wrong.
No, it is. It is. It's just unfortunate when that translates to real money or lack thereof at the box office, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Again, the reason Nic Cage says he hasn't directed since Sonny is this experience was too traumatizing for him.
Yeah.
So, and I believe him.
I mean,
I believe him. I don't
think.
Yeah. I don't think it was the sales. You know what I mean? I don't think he was like, oh, well, it didn't sell, so I'm obviously a bad director. I think it probably was intense.
Really, Nick doesn't care about money that much.
Clearly. All right. Well, guys, thank you. This was our really fun and awesome discussion of Sonny from 2002. Loved it. Check it out. Next up, I don't know what it is. Steve, you're the keeper of the movie list. What is it?
Oh, you did not? It is Adaptation.
Adaptation. I think you have seen this one, right?
I have not. I have seen the cover numerous times. There's a chance that we watched it on a playing video games live stream in the corner kind of night, but I don't think I've ever watched it with focus.
I think a previous Cage Fighter watched it, and it was a Cage Fighter who only loves crazy Nic Cage.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first Nic Cage movie where he told me, oh no, it's good. He's actually really good in it. So I'm expecting good things.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like a multiple personality.
You haven't seen it either?
No, I haven't seen it, but I know he plays like different characters or something. Maybe it's like
the short synopsis is a lovelorn screenwriter becomes desperate as he tries and fails to adapt The Orchid Thief by Susan Orlean for the screen.
Okay.
That could be good.
So maybe he plays the different characters in his script or something. But
the trailer was auto playing and silent, and I mean, a character wise, I definitely get some. I'm definitely seeing some Vampire's Kiss influences here.
So this is like
these weird flashbacks of him seemingly having conversations with himself, kind of stuff.
Perfect. So this is Nic Cage's The Nutty Professor, basically. Is he in a fat suit anywhere?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, good. I know you're lying, but I'll go with it. Good. So check us out next time when we watch Adaptation. This is Late Night Cage Fight. Keep everything in your life, Nicolas Cage. That's what we do. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. And as always, Cage out.
Cage out.
Cage out.